33 Vertebrae, I'm back out here in the heart of nature, raising the frequency, bringing in awesome energy from the air, from the sun, from the earth, from the fire, from the water, and I'm downloading from ether. Still reading my book, 33 Vertebrae. Yeah. So, like I was saying, it's all about being awesome beings, being fit for life, knowing who you are, knowing your template. Because if you know who you are, you'll be awesome. You'll work on things that you're meant to work on. You'll remember what you came to do. You'll focus on what's important, especially now in the ages of AI. You know, AI is here and it's gonna displace many of the things we are doing currently. We are living in awesome times. AI will be doing most of our work. We'll not need to do many of the things that we've been doing. So we'll need to discover what else are we supposed to do. Most of us were caught up in, I always call it slavery, just doing, working like, operating like robots. That's what robots should be. And they forgot how to be a human. That's why many are worried what will we be doing when AI is here. So one thing I'm doing in this video is introduce you to who you are, your template. I want to talk about is DNA. Most of us don't know what DNA is. They only know about it something that used to catch criminals and stuff. DNA is beyond that. So in my book, that's chapter, that's part two of this book. So it's divided in many chapters. It's all about DNA. So I want to read a bit of it. Oh, I even opened a book. Let me go with the page I opened. Let me go with this page. Consider it this way. No, let me start from where, yeah, this is better. The quantum blueprint of DNA. Your DNA is quantum. What do I mean by quantum? I'd explain this in another video, but let me just bring it up quickly. So for those who are watching me for the first time, hope will be able to see. So quantum is a part of this reality that we can't see through our naked eyes, the eyes that we have. You know, everything we see things because we are stopping light. So whatever we stop, whatever light rays our eyes are able to stop, those are the things we see. But does not mean that the rest that our eyes can't see don't exist. There's so many things that are, like for example, Wi-Fi. We can't see Wi-Fi, but we know it's there. We're using it right now. We use it every day. Bluetooth. We can't see Bluetooth, but we use it every day. Yeah. So there's so many things that happen. Microwaves. So the wavelength. So the only most of the things we see here are the things that our eyes are able to stop. Now, so quantum is that those dimensions that we can't see, but they exist. They exist. So I always say that think of the first dimension as just a point. I don't know if you are able to see this. The light is not good. Yeah, as just a point. Then, for this point to understand itself, we need to create another point so that now we can join the two and come up with a line. Okay, so if you have several dots, now let's say we have another dot here, another dot here, so that now when we join these dots, we come up with a shape. This is now a second dimension because we are creating angles. We're creating angle. Now from here we create a 90 degree, create another line, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree. We came up with a square. These are the second dimension, like this board here, second dimension. So we can still have another point. If we have 3 points, create angles. Let's say 60, 60, and 60. We come up with a triangle. Yeah. But now we can still create angles going outside. Like that. Huh? Yeah. Going outside. Or maybe I can draw it something that, like that. It will come up with another shape or depth. Yeah. Yeah. The no angles, now we come up with depth and height. Now we create 3D. Now this reality that we are on like this. Yeah. That's 3D. But now the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, we can't see because we're below. We are below. So as we can easily understand height and depth, because we are in these other realities. And then our minds are in the fourth dimension and stuff. So we can see the third dimension. Yeah. Because they are below us. Now for us to see the fourth dimension, we have to go to a fifth dimension to look down and see a fourth dimension. Yeah. So that's what we call, you have to be spiritual. Spiritual. That's why even the modern physics, the quantum physics, most of these guys are spiritual guys because the things we're dealing with is spirituality. The spirit, yeah, yeah. That is now the spiritual realm. Yeah. That's what we're gonna talk about. So the DNA, as we know, the physical that we see in the lab, the one we use in the lab, that is the physical state, the third dimensional state of it. But now the quantum bit of it exists. It's only 3% physical and 97% quantum. That's how our DNA is. Now, at least now we've gotten a little concept of quantum. I'll go these into maybe another place. I know some of you guys don't like mathematics, so I'll stop there for now. So we say DNA is regarded as the basis of life in human bodies' vastness. The complex structure unraveled several mysteries of the human genome, has kept scientists agog for decades. Such a colossal scientific effort, the Human Genome Project mapped out with a great deal of detail more than 3 billion chemical components in every strand of this intricate molecule. But the deeper we gaze, the deeper the questions come. So the more we are digging into the DNA, the more questions are coming to science. Yeah. So what I just wanted to show you there is that scientists even have now believed that we still don't know more about our DNA. So the yogis have known this for a very long time. They've always been telling us for thousands of years that your DNA is not what you think. There is more. Even long before we scientists discovered DNA, the yogis were already talking about this. Yeah. So the DNA, the 97% that is quantum, that's what we call the Merkaba. So sorry, the human body has different aspects. So let's say this is the human body. This is the physical human body in 3D. So always when I'm doing alignment, I always talk about the soul star, the crown, third eye, throat, upper heart. It's not exactly the point. Just just understand the chakras. Heart, solar plexus, sacral, root, and earth star. So I always talk about these points. So when I'm doing the alignment, I'm doing clearance for you. I'm sending energy through these vortexes. They are vortex. A vortex is a point with concentrated energy. You can call it a gateway, a gateway for, for energy. Yeah. So the human body has different gateways, which bring in different aspects and elements that helps this body to navigate this reality. So these chakras are the gateways that different elements come to. Like for example, the soul star, that is where the soul, when it's descending into the body in the mother's womb, that is where it goes through and gets into the body, this body we're talking about. So this Merkaba, these energy points, they form a tetrahedron. So your body forms a tetrahedron like that. So this is what we use to maneuver this life. This life. Yeah. So this is the vibration of this body is what determines your vibration. So people have different, they vibrate differently depending on the capability of their DNA. So this DNA is not 100%, is not 100% active. In most human, we are barely doing 20%. In fact, 20% is a very generous percentage. Very generous percentage. Yeah. So the masters who walk this earth, they always have an upgraded DNA. People like Jesus, they had a very upgrade, yeah, because of the kind of life that lived, the practices. You know, Jesus spent a lot of time in Egypt. He spent a lot of time doing yoga. He was a yogi. Yes, he was a yogi. Yeah, he spent a lot of time in India. Yeah, until he got his DNA to around over 70%. That was very general. That's why you could see he could work with matter. His DNA was responding to matter very awesomely. Yeah, he could able to do a lot of things. The Reiki healing, sending energy through his hands, sending energy to your chakras and doing a lot of healing. It's all about the percentage of their DNA, their capability. You know, when I talk about these stuffs, some people may come and attack me, but you know, I speak the truth. It's all about you to go and dismiss, go and prove me wrong. Okay. So this body, this Merkaba body, has a lot of clearing. We need to do a lot of clearing on this body. Because I told you, most of us are barely doing 10%. That's very generous still. So the capability of this DNA body, this Merkaba, is what influences how you influence life in this reality and the field. I told you we're downloading from ether. Everything comes from ether. I've always talked about that ether. Everything comes from ether. Ether, the five elements. Ether is what was there first. When you say the spirit of God was hovering, that was ether. It was ether. And then from ether, we have vortexes. So in ether, when we create vortexes, energy points in ether, that is where now matter can arise. Matter arises in a vortex. So in such kind of vortex, that's where we go to air, water, fire, earth. Yeah. Then we start forming universes. Universes starts forming. Then from the universes, we still have, we now into the universes now we still now started having planets and what systems, what suns. Yeah. Yeah. So we are all downloading in, but all information comes from ether. So even this Merkaba body through these chakras, these energy points, these vortexes of your DNA. That's what they interact and download information from ether. That's why when I'm doing the clearings, I'm channeling energy from ether into the energy points. That's why I always mention them. When I'm mentioning them, I'm bringing attention. I'm bringing your attention to that chakra. I told you it's about observation. In quantum physics, observation is super important. We always say that when you observe a particle, that's when it exists. If you don't observe it, maybe it does not exist. So observation is really critical when you're dealing with things quantum. Observation means attention, bringing attention, bringing awareness, being aware, being conscious of something. So when I say be at your heart, I want you to energy to go to the earth chakra. So you bring your attention there. That's where you are, because you're a conscious being. Yeah, you are aware. You become aware. You know, just this physical body. So when I say heart, your attention goes to the heart, and you now become at the heart. Yeah. So when I send energy there, I'm not sending energy at your heart. Super important. Very super important. It's a very important concept, because this is something I'll be doing every day in this channel. So you really have to understand this. These are very, very, very important. In fact, if you don't understand anything in this book, just understand this. By understanding this, you shall have solved most of your problems. Most of your problems. This is where most of the problems are. Yeah. So this energy body has a lot of blockages. A lot of blockages. Yeah. So it needs clearing. It needs clearing. So that's why when you even go for prayers, that's what they are doing. Yeah. So you see, even the pastors, they put their hand on top of your head. They're trying to send energy through there, because they have an upgraded DNA, an upgraded Merkaba. So they are sending energy through your crown, from your crown, to go into your body. Yeah. So if somebody is putting a hand on you, and they have some bad things in their Merkaba, in their system, they're all sending it to you. Yeah. So that's also another challenge. So that's why you'll not see me stretching my hand and sending energy and healing people, because I'm protecting myself. Because when I'm doing it directly, as our systems open, we become one. So everything you have comes to me, and I know at that. I know at that. I only want to be able to channel what I can give only. Yeah. So most of the times you're supposed to be doing your own, because you all have connection to either. Everybody has a connection to either. Yeah. It's only that maybe some are aware, some are not aware. So that's very, very, very important. So focus on this concept. So let me just lead a bit, because we've understood about the DNA concept and stuff. Let me just go back to where I was. Yeah. So consider it this way: 3% of your DNA is the engine that runs the car that is your body. The other 97% carries the directions, the manual, and the guidance that tells the engine how to function. If the 3% represents your body form, then the 97% represents your consciousness, your spirituality, your ability to talk to your own biology. Like I said, everybody is capable of doing this. It's only that you may not be aware of this. So if you're not aware of it, that's where the issue comes in. Okay? Okay. Now, and here's the most extraordinary part: the capability to communicate with our DNA has been available to humans all along. You can talk to it, you can program it, and you can even change its coding through conscious intent. That's what we are doing with the alignments. It's about communicating with the DNA, changing the code, upgrading it. When you're upgrading something, you have to connect it to a higher source. So there's some forms, because I told you everything comes from ether. Everything is made from the same four elements: fire, water, water. Whether it's the sun, whether it's the mountain, whether it's the river, whether it's what, they're all made using the same elements. So when they're doing an upgrade of the DNA, when upgrading the DNA, we want to connect it to a form, hmm, of a higher frequency. Like in this reality, a form with the highest frequency is the sun. Yeah, the sun has a very high frequency. It's one of the highest that we have around. Reminds me of Amun Ra. I'll talk about him one day in this channel. So Amun Ra was one of those gods of Egypt. They're just beings like us, but super advanced. They're very advanced DNA. Yeah. So that's why you used to call them as gods and stuff. Yeah. So Amun Ra matched his frequency with that of the sun. Hmm? So he had a very high frequency, a very high DNA, a very upgraded DNA. So when you're upgrading the DNA, you match your DNA with the highest forms, with forms that have a very high DNA. So that's why it's in the human aspects, you connect with somebody who has a high DNA, or you can connect with a form of high DNA, of high frequency. That brings me to also geometry. I'll talk about geometry another day. The reason why we connect to the mountains, we connect with the rivers, we connect with lakes, is because of their frequency. A mountain has a very high frequency, and there are also chakra points. There are vortexes of the earth. I told you the earth is alive. The fact that the earth is alive, meaning that whatever, it also has the same properties that the human has. It has the same DNA structure that a human has. Yeah. It also has crown, the crown chakra. I have it in my book. Hmm? See, that's the map of the world. So those are chakra points, where they're located all over the world. The crown, huh? The root, or whatever war you're seeing going on in Iran right now. Huh? It's about these vortex there that they have been fighting over for very many years. They've been fighting over who's to control that vortex for so many years. Hmm? That is what is going on there. Yeah. And the Americans really want that. They want it. In fact, that's why they went and planted Israel. They went and planted Israel there because they're trying to control this chakra point. Hmm? And the funny thing, these things, they don't exist in this dimension. They exist in the quantum, in the fourth dimension, the invisible dimensions that we don't see. So if you the same thing way, the quantum, the ones on the body, you'll touch your stomach, but you'll not see the solar plexus. Yeah, but it's there. You'll feel it. In fact, when you become conscious and stuff, you'll be feeling it. You'll be feeling it. Yeah, you'll be working with it, and you feel it pumping at times when energy is really moving. Yeah, yeah. So it's all about this. Yeah, the quantum points and stuff. So I'll do the one for Earth when I come to that chapter. It's on. It's one of the last chapters when I'm talking about service to humanity and the Earth. Yeah, so this book is really in depth. It will open your eyes to a lot of things. So once you become aware of these things, you'll be operating as the quantum being that you are. You know what? Why I'm doing this is to bring this into your awareness. When it's in your awareness, it will be able to work for you. Only the quantum things, the observer effect. Observer effect. You have to observe it. You have to be aware of it for it to work for you. Yeah. And most of these things are invisible. They are at the unseen. You're working with the unseen. Yeah. So most of us who are told that for many years we were programmed into only believing in things that you see. If something is unseen, put it off, unless it's God and the devil. Yeah, yeah. So in the quantum world, we really need to work with, and so that's why we work with faith. You have to have faith. He just told you, unless, yeah, you have faith, you won't see the kingdom of God or something like that. I'm not a Christians will help me there. I'm not a Christian. Yeah. So where was I? We were dealing with still in the DNA. So okay, you already know everything. All you need to do is remember it by talking to your DNA. People of faith do this every day. Whatever you tell yourself happens simply because your DNA follows instructions that you give it. Jesus usually told the people who get healed that your faith made them well, simply because what they believed surely altered their DNA and restored their biological body to what they wanted it to be. So, the quantum healing aspect, you are the one healing yourself. Focus on yourself, not others. That is a very important thing. Focus on yourself, not others. Because this reality, it's all about you. You. Leave others out of it. It's only about you. The rest are just players in the game. Hmm? Responding to how you're sending instructions to the fields. If it is healing, you're the one healing yourself. If it is diseases, you're the one sending diseases to yourself. So that means you have to bring awareness, understand, become aware of your DNA, become aware of your quantum being, of your quantum self, the power that you have. Then you speak to the DNA. They always, even in the Bible, you used to say you speak into existence. Use the power of sound, mouth, the throat. That is the throat chakra. That's what you used to create when you speak things into existence. So when you speak, your DNA listens and it takes instructions from you. So whatever you tell yourself comes to pass. That's why it's super important to always speak, speak, speak affirmations. Speak them. And you believe. If you just speak without believing, you're sending a blood signal to the system. You speak it, believe it, and it comes to pass. There is, however, a problem. In its present form, our DNA doesn't work very well. Although it was designed perfectly, 97% quantum DNA operates only at 30% efficiency. The manifestations are many. For instance, we have weak immune systems, thus become prone to diseases. That's the reason why people fall sick. I can't remember the last time I fell sick. Yeah, because of the state of my DNA. I always tell people don't go to hospitals because of the state of my DNA. So the immunity that you have depends on your DNA and the faith. I know the frequency of operation is very important. I remember during COVID times, there's a lot of fear which was sent into the world. And those people who are always in fear of contracting diseases, many succumbed to it. Because fear is a very low frequency. It's a very, very low frequency. You're operating at a very low frequency if you're in fear. Fear is a very low frequency. It should never be in fear. Even, here's this to tell you, do not be in fear. Don't be afraid. Fear is a low. Once you lower your frequency, you get into your immunity lowers. Hmm? And then everything that can attack you attacks you. Because diseases only exist in low frequencies. In high frequencies, we don't have diseases. So if you're in a high frequency, you'll not have diseases. High frequencies are laughter, joy, yeah, being such kind of vibrations. You rarely get sick. Hmm? That's why I always told you should be a very happy person, always laughing. Even when things are not going as you wanted, you just laugh it off. As I say, laughter is medicine because it takes you to a high vibration and the diseases fall off. Eh? Eh? Laughter is medicine. Laughter is medicine. Yeah. So it's all about the kind of frequency you're operating at. Super important. Uh, okay. So human bodies cannot put up with even minor illnesses such as a common cold. What is worse is the fact that we are, for the most part, ignorant about our health conditions. You could have to depend on external tests from other humans to find out. So, what kind of system is this? Why can't our DNA function the way it's supposed to? Hmm? Let me leave the DNA at that point. Buy the book, buy the book, buy the book, buy the book, and come for private coaching. I'll able to introduce you to these concepts. Hmm? This structure is very important. The Merkaba body. This is what we use to travel in the quantum fields, in the quantum world, to higher dimensions and stuff. This is super important. This is everything that you need to know. I told you this is if you are to capture something from my book or from my channel, from my courses, it's this. And so because of that, I want to do some cleansing, to do clearing for you. So you sit at the head-on position, cross-legged, barefoot on the grass, or you can just sit on a chair, but your feet on the grass, bare feet. Mahadevi, Maheshwari, Jai Ravi, Linga Bhairavi. Now I want to see this light energy coming from the sun. It's white. As it descends, it turns golden. It's going through the soul star, the crown, third eye, throat, upper heart, heart, solar plexus, sacral, root, earth star. Asta, root, sacral, solar plexus, heart. Any emotions you're feeling at the heart, I want to release right now into the earth. Anything you held against anyone right now, just release it. Forgive that person, forgive those people. Send all the emotions to the heart. Send it to that person. If they don't want to receive, just leave it. You've done your part. All about you need to do is just send it to them and release it to the heart, to the earth. Antakaramashatai, tekerem. Let's go upper heart, throat, third eye.